It's David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be talking about superhero games, super villain games, games where your players have superpowers. So to define the genre, let us say that in a superhero game, your character has powers and abilities beyond the ken of mortal man. So you are better than the best. You are exceptional to an absurd degree, to the point where people marvel and gape and look at you like, how did he do that? Something that nobody else in your setting can do. So most commonly, this is a modern game where someone has superpowers. Um, you know, Iron Man has a super suit. Superman, of course, the granddaddy of them all, he has superpowers. The Savage Dragon has super strength. But it can be otherwise. If you look at Legion of Superheroes, that's space opera with some superheroes flying around in it. Silver Surfer, same thing. You can look at the past and say Wuxia, for example, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Some of these heroes are so far beyond the ken of anyone else. The video game series Dynasty Warriors is based upon them because they just mow through skags of normal people. Only other super individuals can stand up to them. So that could be considered a superhero game. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like a subgenre of that, more based on kung fu and less based on like kenjutsu and such. Of course, Jason and the Argonauts could be a super game. You have Hercules with super strength, Atalanta with speed. You can have Orpheus with his magical music that no one else has. And I'd love to run the Argonauts as a superhero team. That'd be so awesome, in my opinion. All right, so that's basically what the superhero genre is. So what are the opportunities that it presents us with, and what are the challenges that it brings? This, by the way, is a remake of a previous video I've done. I want to get the quality up a little higher, be a little more clear in my pronunciation and proclamation so you can understand exactly what's going on, what's good and popping with the superhero genre. The other video may have some merit. Hopefully this video will have more merit. So opportunities. When you have superpowers, you can ignore a huge amount of obstacles. Distance is no object. You can fly. You have super speed. You can teleport. A locked door, a barred gate, an avalanche that blocks the pass, a broken bridge. Those things don't matter. You have super jumping. You can shrink under the door jamb. You can walk through walls. You can become invisible. Whatever it is, you can get through that stealth obstacle, that locked door obstacle very easily. As far as knowledge goes, where's the bad guy? What's his plan? How does his MacGuffin work? Again, telescopic vision, mind reading, X-ray vision, invisibility, shrinking, astral projection, body control, mind control, shape changing. Information is easy to get when you have superpowers. And of course, combat, very easy. Super strength, energy blasts, super agility, adamantine claws, laser beam eyes, whatever it is, you can take care of so many challenges so much more easily than you can in any other genre. And that is what defines the genre. If you're still facing all of these same obstacles you would in any other game, it's not really a superhero game at that point. It's just the whole world has been powered up. But if everything is equally powered up, your circumstance hasn't really changed. So it's not really a superhero game at that point. And that's a problem I've seen a lot of GMs come into. They ratchet everything up, and it's like, well, it doesn't feel like a superhero game. It doesn't feel like you're better than anybody else. And that's exactly what it should feel like. There are a few exceptional individuals, and it's what they do that matters. It's what you do, what the bad guy does. That's what really matters in the world and can change the world. So the removal of obstacles, back on track. That's one thing. And because those obstacles get removed, this is an opportunity to jump right to the chase. You come right through to the bad guy, confront him. Now, fighting him might indeed be difficult. It might be impossible. But getting to him, knowing about him, fighting your way through his minions, those things should be very easy in a superhero game. Not to say you won't have to think about it, roll about it, devote some amount of time, but instead of 6 sessions like a regular game would be, it might only be 3 or 1 session to get to him. So all this filler, this fluff, can be cut right out in a superhero game. Come right to the heart of the issue. You and I have a problem. There's nothing that can stop me from working it out with you. Whether that's talking to you or fighting you, it doesn't matter. We're going to get it sorted out real quick because we're superheroes. And that allows you to explore the characters, to change the world faster and in more depth. Superheroes are often lamented as a genre as being very simplistic. And it should not be simplistic. If you look at The Watchmen, The Dark Knight, V for Vendetta, Hulk, these are things that have a huge amount of depth. How do people deal with their government? How do people deal with their religious institutions, with the military-industrial complex, with so many things that in a regular game you're powerless to confront or to change, or it could be the whole course of the campaign. But as a superhero, you can go in, walk right past the Secret Service, have words with the president. If you have a problem with a war, you can go over and possibly stop the war single-handed. You could hurl tanks into the ocean all day long, and they can't do anything to stop you. You can bring world peace. You can confront religious leaders if you have these superpowers. You can really change the world. But other individuals have this same power. So you can confront the Islamic superhero, the Roman Catholic superhero. Maybe they're having a fight and you are going to interject. Whose side are you on? What do you say to them? Can you solve their differences? Maybe there is a war in a foreign country. A superhero is throwing tanks into the ocean all day long. The president calls you up and says, hey, we need you to go in and make sure this war happens. This is supposed to be a war. This guy is protecting the people from our tanks. Go and stop him. And that's a difficult moral dilemma. And when you show up and start talking to him, and he says, I'm just defending my people. You're invaders. And we don't want you here. And we don't need you here. And I don't have to put up with you being here because I have superpowers. How do you respond to that kind of situation? That can be tremendously interesting to walk through and explore. So those are the kind of opportunities to change the world because you have no interference, no one slowing you down and stopping you, confronting big issues, well-developed NPCs, exploring especially that concept, does might make right? Because as a superhero you have might, but does that make you right? If you're in a country that has illegal drugs, you made drugs illegal, alcohol is illegal in your country, let us say, and you feel that's morally wrong, you think people should be able to drink alcohol if they want to, as a normal person you can't do anything about it. You have to follow the law because they have police, they have guns, they have jail, they can throw you into. They have the might, so I guess they're right. Alcohol is evil. But if you suddenly have superpowers, you can say, hey, I'm going to crack open a Budweiser beer and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm going to single-handedly repeal prohibition. And you can go do that, change the world. But there may be a superhero out there who's on the other side of that fence and who says, no, the status quo must be upheld. We've got to have prohibition of alcohol. The government knows what you should do with your own body, and you can explore these issues. So that's your opportunity. That's what the genre does well. What are the problems of a superhero game? Number one, because there's no filler, because you plow through everything, you need to have a tremendous amount as a GM prepped, ready to go. Because what would take 6 sessions only takes 3 sessions. So if you want to get 50 sessions, you have to do 150 sessions worth of prep. And that can be a problem. That can burn out a GM. Or it can just result in a shorter campaign. Whichever one you want to do that. I would rather have a short campaign instead of being burned out, but that's up to you. So that's one problem, is you need to prep more in greater detail and greater depth, because you have no filler. You have less control over pacing. You need to trust your players to pace themselves a lot more. So that's one problem. The second problem has been brought up to me by Juice, the Juice Master, and he was saying, how do you keep the party together? Like, I don't know. If you've got these individuals who are so powerful, they don't have to listen to anybody. They can change the world. If even 2 of them are very opinionated against each other, how can you keep them together? So that's a big challenge for the GM, for the players in character creation. There are, of course, a lot of ways around that. They could be childhood friends. They could have broadly aligned political and philosophical views. They could have mutual friends. They could have a shared enemy or threat to bring them together. It's kind of the Vampire the Masquerade problem, though. How do you get a team out of this group of individuals? So you have to take a lot more care in building your team than you would in another game. Because when you don't need anybody to help you, you might tend to go off lone wolf style. And superheroes, of any genre, they're the people who don't need as much help, which is the point. So those are my thoughts on superheroes. I think it's been more concise this time, hopefully. Let me know what you think about the genre, the challenges, the opportunities. How would you keep the party together? What's been your best superhero experience in gaming? Leave that in the comments below, and until I see you again, good day and good gaming.